What's up, guys? Happy Friday. I'm here to have a look, see if we can identify the weekend trap, because I believe we had some pretty good news come out in my sleep last night with Trump stating that crypto assets will be able to expand investment choices for 401k plans, and alts had a pretty big pump from what I can see. That would have been good to see live, but I was not awake, so I missed it. So anyway, what I want to do today, because that news comes out right at the time that we're getting ready for the trap, I want to have a look to see if I can see any signs of that. So I'm going to do that live with you. Like, I've not looked at charts at all. I actually am thinking that these Fridays, when I feel like it, I'm not going to commit every week, just so you know. But when I feel like it, Fridays can just be a chill live charting situation. Like, I'm not going to have anything prepared. We will just look at what you guys want to look at, chart live, and see what we can come up with. So let me know if you like that idea, number one. And number two, if you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Oh yes, there was XRP news also, which was good. So we will look at XRP as well. But yeah, smash that like button nice and early. It helps to get the videos around the internet, especially right now, whilst lots of people disappear because they, summer holidays, and they expect that price is going to go sideways and be boring. And if you understand the TBD system, then you will know that that boringness is the best time for us to day trade. I can see people asking, where's Pirate Annie? Where's the bandana? It's Friday. I'm in my sweats. I'm lacking makeup and hair and whatever. So this is how Fridays are going to be. Fridays are going to be absolutely zero effort with appearance and also with content. Okay, so we're just going to see what happens. I think that live trading is the best way to show your skill anyway, right? So like I said to you, I've looked at nothing. I've looked at Bitcoin. I do have a bit of a caution, but I have not looked at lower time frames. So we're literally going to be doing that live together. I can see you guys saying you love that idea. And I want to hunt for some potential new trades to set up for Gridbots, see if we can find anything based on your suggestions or whatever we happen to come up with. So let's go and have a look at Bitcoin first, because this is my warning, right? So you guys know, if you've been watching this channel, that even though bikini next time, yeah, no, even though I am essentially a day trader, or 3-day swing trader, let's call it, I'm always looking at the higher time frames, because the higher time frames show me where most of my effort should go. Adeline says, how do we prepare for a summer pullback? I'm going to show you that right now. And even though I day trade or small time frame trade, by keeping an eye on what the macro time frames are telling me, it helps me to get the best lower time frame trades. So I'm on the 4-hour here, and there is a really big caution right now, because what you can see is that from this chop, sideways chop, since middle of July till end of July, we basically ranged sideways. Then we had this move to the downside. Now, when there's a big move, how do I say this? I'm going to tell you my favorite strategy. Okay, this is my favorite strategy in the whole entire universe. So, and this happens on every time frame. So when you have sideways chop, think of this as a battleground. Okay, buyers are bullish and wanting to buy the support, and sellers are bearish and they're wanting to sell the resistance. And so this is what creates a ton of volume in this range, where it's basically like a tug of war between buyers and sellers. And at that moment in time, no one is stronger. So they're both pulling on each side of this rope, right? And sometimes it goes a little bit this way, and sometimes it goes a little bit this way. And for a moment in time, they look stronger, then they look stronger, and it just goes back and forth. But if you know, like a real tug of war game, then someone at some point, one side gets weak. Okay, they can't maintain that level of strength. The charts are exactly the same. So as you have this battleground The war just keeps going until one side gets weak. And then you see the big move. And so once that happens, so this was the big move. So this shows that the buyers got weak in the battle zone. And so once you identify that big move, there's always a tiny candle before it, usually with high volume. So it's this doji right here. And that is the final battle before one side gives up. So what that means is that in that candle right there is a ton of volume. And because one side gave up, some orders got filled, but not every order got filled. And so price will eventually make its way back there, which is what we can see is happening now. And that's why this becomes an area of interest, because when the price comes back there, all you have to do, or when I say back there, I don't mean exactly to the candle. Where price is right now counts, and to the very bottom of it, middle and top, okay? So anywhere around that candle counts. And so what you're looking for when price does get back into that zone is, are the sellers that were left over from the first drop that didn't get their orders filled, are they still waiting there? Are they still waiting in the bushes, right, to come and attack you, essentially? And you see that by how the candles react when we get back into the zone. And so this, sorry guys, this can set up, when price does come close to a candle like that, this can set up for, for a very good high risk to reward trade, because like I said, the candle that ends the battle zone is usually very small. And let's just say, as an example, let's just say we got right back to the bottom of the zone. Then you only need to have your stop loss above this candle right here. But because this candle spiked above, just to be extra safe, we will, in this case, we'll make the example above this wick right here. And then you can take that down to where it last fell away. That's a 5 point, let's just say a 5. That's a 5-to-1 risk to reward trade. Yeah, I know my mic is choppy. There's nothing I can do about it at this point in time. So just bear with me. Hopefully the education is more important than the volume. So it is a constant battle of me trying to figure out what is going on with this mic. But anyway, so hopefully this makes sense to you, okay? So now the question is, if you can see that as a possibility on the higher time frame, then I'll do my best to talk right into the mic, but it's because I turn my head to look at the chart. Then what you do is you go down to lower time frames to see if you can understand this week's counts. And if this week's counts look over, then this right here is going to be the best that we can get, the closest we can get to that area of interest. And if they're not, then maybe there's one more rise that will take us into it. So that's what you guys are saying. Fine. Thank you guys. Thanks. Yeah. So that's what I want to look for with you guys right now. So this is a 4-hour time frame. So let's go down and have a look at the 1-hour time frame. And then all we have to do, when you understand our trading strategy on this channel, you just have to zoom out to the last peak formation. It's either a peak formation high or it's a peak formation low. And it's usually somewhere within 5 to maybe 7 days back, okay? Hugo says, don't worry, Annie, it's great. Thank you, guys. So we don't have to look back too far when you are trading this method. And that's what makes it really good. So I know, like, you know, traders look at the monthly candle close and the weekly, and we do that for a macro idea. But for trading this specific method, you only have to worry about price action up until the week prior to now. So, and wherever you see the peak formation in that week prior. So what we can see is that so far this week, the peak formation happened actually on a weekend, which is not normal. Usually don't trust trend reversals on a weekend. Of course, that's not going to be true 100% of the time, but most of the time you don't trust them. It just happens to turn out that this weekend it was a trustworthy one. But even if you followed that rule and you decided not to trust this, there was a higher low that was created during the week in US when we expect the false move week beginning to be over anyway. So there was many chances to go long this week is the point of the story. Yes, Kat, hey Kat, nice to see you in the chat. Guys, if you are part of the private TTC community, don't forget that right after this call, Kat has her call on mindset. If you guys are not part of TTC, this is how serious we are over here. We don't just run sessions to teach you how to trade and help you get trades. Of course, we do that. It's a big focus. But mindset is a big part of trading and, you know, especially dealing with your money issues and just lifestyle crap that can get in the way. And we've got an amazing coach that helps us out with that. And she runs sessions every 2 weeks. And we have a channel in the Discord anytime things are, you know, not going your way. There's someone there to support you. So shout out to you, Kat. Guys, she's going to be on right after this, and make sure you check that out for our private members. So anyway, back to the point of the story. So this one turned out, now I missed this myself because I was watching it. I was looking at, and actually it was exactly on my area of interest, which I've deleted now, but it was the zone to look for an entry and it was perfect. But I was just a bit skeptical of it. And I think in the end, what happened was I left it and went to bed, and then the next day, so it doesn't matter because I'm long from 75K. So it doesn't matter, but I always like to get a cheeky weekly trade as well if I can. So anyway, point being that if this all then forms that W formation right here, it's a pretty big one, but it's a big one because it was the weekend. Actually, perfect situation. If this was you, like me, what you could do instead is set up a grid bot. So it's so basic. And this is why Gridbot trading is a really good complement to manual trading. If you wake up or this pivot happens not in your time zone, I know we've got a lot of Aussie fans. Shout out to you guys, but you know, middle of US is very, very late for you guys. So if you miss that, you wake up in Asia, you don't have to stress. You just open your Gridbot. But anyway, we'll talk about that a bit later. So this is the W formation. Now, to me, all of this through here on the 1 hour time frame is the rise one. This qualifies as a rise one for me. It's a crappy one, but it is one. And then, so do I need to mark this? Let me mark this just so that I can be clear. Okay. So it pushes through with volume, creates a peak formation, usually somewhere around the 200 EMA. This was, the yellow is the 200. So tick the box on that. And then we either consolidate, so price goes sideways, or we pull back. We pulled back, perfect, and held the 50 EMA, which is what we look for. So this is textbook. This part here is textbook TBD, and that's what should happen. So then we go into rise level 2. Actually, I want to ask you guys, if you are part of the private community, are you counting this currently as, like, do you have your 3 levels complete on the 1 hour, or are you at rise 2? Let me know in the comments while I take a quick, I left my tea. Wait, can I just quickly get my tea because it will help me when I cough. I'll be right back. You can hit the like button while you're waiting. Lucky for you guys, my kitchen is like next door to my office. Sorry for that brief interruption. Anyway, so let me see. What are you guys saying about, is this level 2 or 3 on the 1 hour? Guys, let me know. Don't be afraid to let me know, because this is how you learn. I can see comments saying, I highly recommend Kat's calls. They're amazing. Coach Kat rocks. Love the mindset support in this community. It's bloody awesome. Thank you, Kat. Highly recommend joining TTC. Waiting for Kat. Official Diamo says, hey guys, first time here. Welcome. What else have we got? Can get free indicator PVSRA candles. Yes, PVSRA candles. We call ours is PVSRA auto override. That's ours, and that will be similar to what you see me use on this channel. We go into the weekend, why should I long? We go into the weekend, why should I long? We'll talk about that. Coach Kat is so supportive. Okay, let me see. Oh, here we go. Here's your comment. So R2, we're on rise 2. We're on rise 2. 15-minute different one. I'm just talking about 1 hour. Undecided. Yeah, Lindsay, you're a OG. I can tell by your comment. Undecided, no SVC or trap traders, so erring on the side of caution. What a brilliant answer. R2, R2, R2. Everyone thinks it's rise 2. The levels are completed now. Rise 3 has happened. All right, I would say, I should have actually set that up as a voting thing. I would say most of you believe that we're in rise. Oh, the 3s are coming in now. I think most of you think we're in rise 2 on the 1 hour. Okay, so this is the hardest part about the method, honestly, is counting the levels. And so exactly, bloody hell, I've lost the name now. Anyway, exactly like Lynn's, exactly like Lynn said in the comments, was the way, if you're confused about the levels, that's fair and totally fine. But the way to help you understand them is a stopping volume candle, which is like this, looks like this blue one right here. It's a high volume hammer at the bottom or the top of a range. Or we come into a key area, and it could be any other kind of reversal pattern. And then also timing. So is there a news event coming? What day of the week is it? Etc., etc. Now, the final thing that can help you is the volume. So if we have a look at the volume, we're looking at this cluster of green right here, and you can see that that was a spike in volume in comparison to the candles prior. So that's all we care about, okay? It doesn't have to be a specific amount of volume. It just needs to be a significant increase in comparison to the volume prior. Then the volume went flat again through here, which you can see was the retracement. And then look how the volume grew through level 2. That's what we like to see. We like to see level 2 volume rise, because level 2 is where the market maker starts the move, and then he goes hands off to see if retail will jump in. And so when you trade this method, we get in anticipation of that, because then retail helps push our trade into profit faster. And then level 3 is where they start to build the positions in the opposite direction. What I don't currently like about this price action is that this vector here is a blue one, as opposed, wait, hang on, I shouldn't say that. It's a blue one following 2 green rises. What that means is a weakening in momentum. But weakening doesn't mean reversal. Weakening can mean having a break. So what we're seeing now in Asia, or what happened in Asia, was essentially the break, okay? And so it may not mean that that counts as rise 3. And again, like Lynn said, we don't have reversal signals right here to signal that this is rise 3 done. And considering we have the high time frame battle zone that I showed you, it would make more sense that we come more into the battle zone as part of the Friday trap. So if you've never heard of this before, you've got Monday false move week beginning. And the goal of that is to send price in a direction. So the trap happens by getting you to believe a breakout is happening one way, that's the false move, and then it swings the other way. The weekend trap is a little bit different. It's price action that happens on usually UK or US on Friday, and it can be two-sided. So if UK swings one way, US might swing the other way. And the goal is to get you to guess, are we bullish or bearish? I don't know. And just open a position. Doesn't even matter what way you open that position, because what they'll do by the end of US is bring price back into a range, and then they just keep you there for the whole weekend so that the price doesn't hit your stop loss, but it also doesn't hit your take profit, and therefore your position remains opened. And as long as your position remains opened, you are providing liquidity for the market maker to come back Sunday, Monday and issue that false move. So that's the cycle of how things happen, right? So what we're looking for today is evidence of them setting the trap. And we'll have a look at some altcoins as well, because I think altcoins, like I said, I haven't looked, so we're looking live. I'll tell you if I change my mind when we look at some of them, but altcoins might continue to run if they have run since last night. So let's just focus on Bitcoin for now, because it's important to know. So moral of the story is, now I'm going to leave this as level 2 with the option of level 3 still to come, but I'm going to go down to the 15-minute now to see what the likelihood is of that. So what have I got here? When I look at the 15-minute, this does just look like a retracement. What are we in? UK ends in 3 hours and 40 minutes. Okay, so now it's very easy from this point on. You just look here, what's his name? Asia, what's his name? Asia has set today's initial high and low because Asia's closed, and it set it within a 1% range. Fine. So this is all good. And now it's going to be the job of UK or US to break one of those levels. Now, we don't have any significant news events today, as far as I'm aware, unless something sudden and unexpected happens. At the point of filming this video, we haven't broken one of those levels yet. So what happens is, why we need to know Asia's high and low is because the highest point that Asia goes creates liquidity above Asia. And then the lowest point that it goes creates liquidity below Asia. So then UK's job is to come and take one of those sides, not UK or US, is to come and take one of those sides. And so the best thing that we can do on a Friday is to see where the liquidity is. So let's go and have a look at that. Now, I only want like a high level. So I'm going to put this at 100 and we'll just see what's around the current price. Sorry, guys. So that's immediately interesting to me because look at this liquidity right here at 161 million. It's pretty significant and it's right at the bottom of my area of interest. So I'm not just looking for liquidity wherever it is. I'm looking for liquidity that makes sense. So if UK either doesn't break Asia's initial low or it breaks it but only with a stop hunt, then you will know that that stop hunt only happened to wipe out Asia's low liquidity, and then it's likely that US will come up for this level and that will complete the 1 hour R3. That's the play that I personally would like to see, because usually if we're going to reverse a trend, we don't hang around here for so long. Like, we would have moved out by now. So I'd be looking for that. But I also do think, now I've personally missed it because this happened in Asia. I also personally have a habit of, on Fridays, I look for the highest point possible. Well, not just on Friday, it can happen on Thursday, but I look for the highest point possible. What was I going to say? For me to open a hedge position. So in the bull market, this has basically become my strategy, is that even though I'm a short time frame trader, I only look for long positions because we're in a bull market and they're going to pay out bigger than short positions, because short positions they tend to just be liquidation hunts or just pullbacks, right? So they're not huge risk to rewards. So I tend to only trade the long side. But what I do to protect my my trades, my long positions through weekends, and this is how I've managed the 74K long, is I look for the peak formation high on a Friday or a Thursday, and I short that. So let me show you a real example. Let's just pretend this was it and I happen to get it. I would, and it's Friday, so I would open my short position above this liquidity would be where my stop loss would go. And this short isn't for me to actually make money. So I'm not trying to profit from this. What I would do is just keep this short open until Sunday when I come back to look for evidence of the false move week beginning. And so what that means is that, let's just say I had a long position. I'm being a little bit advanced here, but I hope that this is making sense. Let me know, because I can go on tangents, especially when I'm live. But let's just pretend this was our long position, right? And but it's a really good one. Let's pretend it was a really good one. This isn't a good one. I would have wanted a much lower entry in order to do this strategy. But for the sake of keeping everything on the screen, I just want to explain this to you. So let's just say you had an epic long, right? And you're massively in profit, but you think there's more levels to go. And now it's the weekend and you're like, well, what do? I don't want to close the trade because there should be another level to go. So what you do is you wait for the peak formation towards the end of the week and you open a short hedge. Now, let's just say this already is the weekend trap, and for the whole weekend, price just goes sideways like that. It doesn't matter, because you would, hold on a second. you would put your stop loss just under the last lower high. So your stop loss is here. It's in profit, right? If your entry was here, your stop loss is here. So this can't lose if it swings back the other way. And the goal here isn't to make the money. The goal here is to make some of this unrealized profit back in the event that this does pull back harder and that you were actually wrong and there aren't more levels to come. So that's my Friday routine, is just looking for that peak formation to get my hedge position. So I'll see how I go, because what I do note about this, in addition to thinking maybe UK will take the low and US might fake us out to take the high, in addition to that, the facts are the facts, and the facts are that Asia has created the high, it's created the low, and then we've rejected 50% Asia at the start of UK. Okay, so that's a fact, and that should mean more downside. But again, it's trickling so slow that it could mean downside to an EMA, to one of our key levels, like 50% of the high low of the week, to potentially even this liquidity here. You know, it could just mean that, and then still the weekend trap takes us to the upside. So yeah, that's what I would be looking for. Now, I don't have the short position for the weekend just yet. If I happen to get another chance at 50% Asia and we reject, I might open it there. But otherwise, I don't know where I would open it, because I really do only like to open it as close to the peak formation as possible. But it just turned out this week that it happened in my sleep, and that's what happens, right? So is this making sense? Let me know. Great lesson. Loving it. Very good advanced tips. I feel my brain dancing. Good morning from Argentina. The shorts are shorter. Smash the like button. Link ran really hard. Yes, it did. Open interest is weak at the moment as well. Would like to see some more. Yeah, and open interest might come in if UK sweeps the low with a stop hunt. So yeah, that's what I would be looking out for as far as a very small time frame situation. So let's have a look at some other things then. Let's have a look at where the orders are, because they might add confluence to this 4-hour battle zone idea. So this is the candle here, the 4-hour battle zone idea. So what we're looking for is, oh, it says new version released. Okay, let's, oh, the only thing is every time they release a new version, you have to do all your settings again. Let's just see. Do I? Yep. Okay. Let's just wait for this to reset, but this might give confluence to what we're thinking. Okay, so that's our battle zone candle, and we want to see if there are still high level shorts there. It's pretty thin right now, but we can see that we have 117,900 to 118,400. Which, look at that, 118,400 is right about the halfway mark. Yeah, so I'm going to keep my hopes, although you shouldn't trade with hope, but I'm going to keep my hopes up that we do get the stop hunt down and come up to here before we close this week. I think, to me, that would make a much better sense, 1 hour rise 3. But something has to happen in US for us to get that spike. But yeah, that it lines up, man. Like, what can I say? This is telling me I should get what I want. And then what else is going on? So we're trying to hold the range at 116,400. Is that important for any reason? Yep. It's the initial low of the day. So buyers are trying to hold here. So if, again, we might stop hunt down to wreck those buyers. Was it buyers? Yeah, no, they would be right. No, they could get stopped out before it moves up if they're on super high leverage. Or maybe it's the market maker, orders. So maybe they would be, see, these are how thoughts go in my head when I'm actually trading. This is why I think before I hit record. So you're seeing things in real life. But if they're high level orders, maybe they're high level orders for the spike. That could happen. Okay, so anyway, if that happens and we get into that level and we do get a battle zone at the doji, then if we reject hard, now that will not necessarily happen now, as in like today. This is like, you know, whatever, over the next week or sometime in August, let's say. 110 is still there. 110K orders are still there. So I did notice some comments in Discord. I noticed it from Crypto Crow. Shout out to him, best YouTube channel ever. But he was saying, you know, how did that happen? Like, how did everyone was calling for 110K and we only went here to 111,800. And as a result, a lot of people missed the long because they were banking on 1010 or a bit lower, because that's what all the YouTubers were saying. I'm telling you that there, at this point in time, until we get back above the battle zone, there is still a chance of 110. It may just not come as soon as you want it to come. So that's the thing. You got to remember, we're in low volume August. Okay. So if the market maker needs to induce we won't know this, like we have to judge this day by day. But if he's not getting commitment to the upside, he's going to have to send it to the downside to get the commitment there. And the only way we get the hint of that is by identifying what happens in battle zones. So yeah, keep an eye on that. I would not write off 110K just yet. Is CoinGlass as good as HighBlock? They do different things, but look, HighBlock is a paid service, so there's that. And if you don't want to pay for the service or you can't for whatever reason, CoinGlass is a good alternative. It gives you enough to make these decisions. But this isn't CoinGlass. This is it's called Kiyotaka, KIYOTAKA. .ai, and you do have to you have to, oh, I don't know if you can access this if you don't pay for it. Maybe someone in the comments will know. I can't remember. I just pay for everything so that I can have every feature. So I don't know. Okay, anyway, what else do we want to look at? Dominance, delicious. Bitcoin dominance has created that lower high at the 200 EMA and is currently breaking down. This trend line here is significant. If we zoom out, right, all the way back to November 2022. So yeah, that's the next zone to see what happens if we get there. But a nice slow bleed down to there is delicious, good for your altcoins. US or stablecoin dominance is doing what we kind of hoped it would do. Now we're just waiting. So the lower high, we would say, has been created. We're waiting for it now to complete this and break down further. Also going to be good for altcoins. Okay, you guys are saying it's free. There you go, it's free. And then this one has done, so if you caught my video where I said I had two plans, it's possible that this is doing plan number 2 where it's breaking out. But let me just move this out of the way because I want to properly investigate this, because I'm not a trend line trader, as you hopefully know. But this was an idea that I was waiting to see if it would happen. And if I connect the wicks, it hasn't broken out. This is why I don't trade trend lines, because it's subjective, because some people draw their trend lines to candle closes only, some draw it to wicks only, and some draw it to combination of both. So that's what makes trend line trading subjective. And yeah, like at this point in time, look, either way it's bullish, but it's just a breakout and retest at this point in time. So a high or low will confirm this. Regardless of what the pattern is, it's now irrelevant. Okay, the pattern is now irrelevant. What matters now is that we get a high or low somewhere. And again, this is daily time frame, so we'll take some time. But yeah, that's that. Okay, so Annie, we need to add orders in our Chrome extension. Yeah, it's because it's a different program. It's not possible. And also it changes all the time. So if you were to put orders on your chart and not revisit it, you could be wrong, because those orders could get filled. So with heat maps, it is something like this. It is something you need to watch, you know, all the time, and especially before you make a move, to come back and make sure that your orders are still there. Okay, I can see you guys. Okay, first of all, people are saying smash the like. So let's just see what is going on with that right now. 388 and 826 watching. Come on, guys. Surely I've given you enough value for a like so far. Also, before we look at altcoins, I just want to have a look at the market in general, because the S&P and NASDAQ had a little bit of a sell-off, and they look to be recovering quite nicely as daily time frame, but they look to be recovering quite nicely. So that's good, because as long as it, continues up, it doesn't affect our crypto. So this is great. Any harsh sell-off is not going to be good. But we do want to see now a new higher high. We don't want to see this create a lower high, remembering that the sell-off did create vector candles right here. So they are the zone of interest now, and we have to make sure that within these zones that we can break right through them. There's nothing else I really wanted to cover in the general market. So I think what we can do then, is there anything else I want? Oh, I wanted to, no, do I want to look at this now? We'll look at it as coins come up, I think. Yeah, let's look at this as coin requests come up. So chuck them in the chat, and I'll go through and see what you guys want to talk about, and we'll chart some things up. Oh yeah, I'm glad this streamed to X today. The other day it didn't stream to X for some really weird reason. All right, can I see any coins in the chat? Don't give me crap coins that you hear about on shill channels, because I'm not interested, and I won't cover them out of protection for you guys. So I saw algo. Okay, so one habit that I have is all of these liquidation levels that you can see, I put these on my chart on Friday when the market closes. So what you're seeing right now is liquidity from last Friday, and then I check throughout the week what gets taken. So when we zoom in on algo, let's just do this on a 4-hour time frame. See how you can see how it's just so accurate. See how you can see the highest levels of liquidity got taken, and then we change direction to then start taking the highest levels of liquidity to the upside. So these are gone now. And I think the only thing is, when I do this on a different computer, I can't just delete them all on this one. So I have to manually do it. Give me one sec. So now that we know that the job was done during the week, sorry. We can now reset. So first of all, that's the world's most obvious W formation. Looks great, but also it makes sense where it's struggling right now because of this vector candle right here. To me, everything right now is long-term bullish. That's the moral of the story. Everything is long-term bullish, and August is the month to buy dips. That's my conclusion on everything. Even if W's like this fail and we create a lower low, I still think that it's good for buying dips. And when I say that, I mean as like, short-term trades. I don't mean, you're going to get 50Xs out of them. Is Kiyotaka better than Trading Light? So look, I was the world's most loyal person to Trading Light for years, even though they treated me like absolute shit behind the scenes. And now I can say that. But they're terrible now. Like, they just went downhill. I believe all the devs left. I'm not surprised, because the guy that I used to deal with, for the amount of people that I bought to his platform, treated me absolutely horribly. When we used to do giveaways to our community for Trading Light, I paid for them, right? I paid for them. That doesn't normally happen. Normally people want to work with me, and I say, yeah, you can work with me, but what are you giving my community? And they will give you guys stuff. For these guys, because I believed in their product so much, I was like, I'll pay for it. So yeah, that's ridiculous. I just think terrible business practice. I'm in the UAE, I shouldn't say this, but anyway, whatever. So no, I would say Kiyotaka is better, especially if you can get it for free. Anyway, let me just quickly zoom out on this before I talk about it. Sorry. Okay, this is really bullish. Okay, so on the daily time frame, it's a change in trend. Look at this. Let's zoom out big time. So big move to the downside, consolidate for a long time. Break out of the consolidation, beautiful. Retest off the daily 200 EMA, beautiful. Everything here is beautiful, and therefore you can then go down to look for entries if you don't already have them. The W was a really good one, and now you're just waiting for a new entry, and because price is in here, you may get your pullback soon. So let's go and have a look then at the 1 hour. And see, so again, so this is this week right here, and this is last week right here. So all you ever have to do is look in the last 2 weeks for your peak formation and start from there. So this is a peak formation, breakout, broke the 50, ran to the 200. See how this is all textbook? Ran to the 200, came back, gave us a higher low, broke out again. Now it's in the area of interest. This to me on the 1 hour looks like it has another rise to go. Let's check the liquidity, the new levels. So I'm reading your comments as I'm looking. Okay, so what is significant here? Beautiful, beautiful liquidity at the 50% high and low of the week. Also the 50 EMA, even 50% high, low of the day. All of this here, if it retraced back, it might not come back that far, but if it did, I think that would be a good entry for level 3. And level 3, I think, would take us into this liquidity right here, but it could even take us back to the high of the week because there's a ton of liquidity back there. So that's what I would be looking for. Those ranges would be, wait, what is it? Yeah, 0.2516 to 0.2595 would be my area of interest. Now, because I'm on a small time, I'm on the 1 hour. So just remember what I'm talking to you about today are small time frame trades. Usually when I talk about alts, I'm talking, high time frame daily. But yeah, it's Friday. So let's be a bit degen and try to get rise 3, right? Oh, someone covered a coin that I want to talk about. I'm not going to say it just yet because I will come back to it. All right, let's talk about Link because I know there has been some attention on Link because it mooned. But let's go to the 4 hour. And again, look at this. See, you didn't need to know anything about Link this week to know that that was the peak formation low, because look, it came and look at all the liquidity that it took. Literally the full cluster of liquidity moved away, stayed away from that cluster, and then bang, started coming for all the upper liquidity. So if you've never seen this before, this is our indicator. We get the data from High Block, so it's very accurate, but and you can get the data from High Block itself. This is essentially the charts that we're using when we mark this on our charts. But it's very accurate because at the end of the day, the markets chase liquidity. And so everything that's below price, it's pink, orange, red. It's the liquidity for long positions. So if price heads down, it liquidates longs. And then the blue greenish colors above price are the liquidity for short positions. So look at this as just the world's most beautiful lesson, okay? We had long liquidity here. So this would have been people buying dips potentially. Maybe they bought this dip. Maybe they thought that was it. Oh yeah, this makes perfect sense. Let me explain this. Okay, so let's go back in time so that you can see what I'm seeing. Wait, how do I go back in time? Here. Yep. Okay, so let's just say you're a retail trader and this to you is support, okay? So you see price go up, come back, test support, go up, come back, test support multiple times, up, back, come on, it's support, you buy, right? So this is where you open your long position because you don't understand levels and you're bullish. And let's just be generous and say even then you didn't get stopped out by this, which for sure most retail traders would have because they would put their stop loss just under this wick. But let's just pretend you didn't get stopped out there. Now time goes on and the liquidity has been built up because as you open that position, this is where your liquidity was down here for your leverage position. Market maker knows that, goes, ha, 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 ha. I tricked you into buying off support. And then bang, he sends it down and takes that liquidity. Great. Now that's done. Where's he going to go next? The liquidity to the downside was taken. So now he has to reverse and go to the upside. But what happens here? People go, oh my God, it broke support. I'm going to open a short position. This is super bearish. And so anywhere here, well, the liquidity is here. So they've opened it at the last minute, maybe down here somewhere. right? And their liquidity is here in these ones. So now they go, yes, cool, I'm on the right side of the trade. If this is you before you discovered this channel, let me know in the chat, because it was all of us at one point in time. And then bang, you go, yeah, genius, smart. Oh, crap. Not wrong again, right? Because it's just a game of liquidity. So once the liquidity is taken, they have to go for the other side. And so that's basically what happened here. So let's get rid of all of this. And now we've seen all of this get taken. Let me read these comments. This is me right now. Not for long, my friend, because you're here now. You're here and we will save you. Okay, so now let's redo this. Okay, so this is perfect now, because after a W formation forms, we expect, like I said to you, we expect a, Linda says that's me. Don't worry, man. It's all part of the apprenticeship. So once a W is formed, we expect, like I said earlier, consolidation or a pullback. Best case scenario is pullback, because you get the lower entry to go again. But when things are super bullish, they may not pull back as much. And so then you're sitting there waiting for a pullback, but all it does is consolidate. And so that's why you have to understand the method. It looks like this. It's a W, it starts out as a W, and then you go into 3 levels of rise, okay? And then it does that the other way, but let's just focus on this. So this is a W here, and the right side creates level 1, and then you have a pullback or consolidation, and then you have 2, pullback or consolidation, 3. So these right now would signify pullbacks, but they don't have to be. They can go like this. Okay, so you always have to keep, and you have to learn how to read consolidation, because consolidation is where most traders get bored and stop looking at charts. But it can be the most epic if you understand how to read the story of what's happening in consolidation. Then it can be the most epic time for you to enter a trade. So anyway, all of that is taught in full in our courses if you are wanting to join us and learn this in full. But for now, let's talk about this for Chainlink. So it's extremely bullish, and the liquidity, high level of liquidity, isn't down until $18. We would have to have a significant pullback in order to get that. So don't discount that idea. It would be, well, let's just say it reversed from right now, which it may not, but it would be a 38 to 50 fib pullback, which is pretty decent. I think you'd be very lucky to get your entry anywhere in this vector candle. And look, because we're going into a weekend, it may happen. So that would be my first area of interest, 17.6 to 18.2. Okay, now the thing that you have to watch from here on the 1 hour time frame, yeah, see the 1 hour doesn't look finished yet. So oh, look, it's coming up to the high of the week. So yeah, look, it may consolidate here. It may even push in just into this. So it may just spike above the high of the week, potentially part of the weekend trap. And then from there, we'll either consolidate or pull back. So just keep an eye on this level, especially if you're already in a long position looking to take profits. Keep an eye on this level. But until it pulls back, you can't really identify the best buy zone. So this buy zone is on the assumption that the high is in, and it may not be yet. So maybe we'll revisit this one at the end of the stream and just see if more 1 hour or 15-minute candles have formed. Let's see, 15-minute. Yes, there's no stopping volume candle, but there is a bearish engulfing at the high of the week. Even though it's not high volume, yeah, it may still have more to go at this, sorry, at this point in time. But if it gets up into the high of the week and this liquidity at, what is this, say 19.7, see if there's weakness there. That may signal that a pullback is about to start, and then you can better identify your retracement zone to go long. But I wouldn't short this. It's very bullish, and it's between rise levels. So I would just be letting it pull back or consolidate and then looking for the next long position. Okay, what else? Solana. Okay, I will cover Solana. I noticed I've been giving Solana a bit of shit lately, and I notice people think that because I've been giving it shit, that means I hate it. I don't hate it. Just so you know, I've had Solana since it was $8. I still hold it, but when I say I dislike it, I dislike the price action. So I don't get emotional about coins. I just dislike the price action in comparison to other coins right now. Like look at Link, right? That was a beautiful, nice bullish trend. When you look at Solana and you zoom out on the daily especially, it's a it's a bear flag. It is a bear flag. I'm sorry to tell you, but from this here, this move down, it's this all here is a daily time frame bear flag, and it's kind of struggling in comparison to everything else. So I think I still think this play is, it's still on my mind actually, to be honest with you. Let's look at it on a smaller time frame because it makes more sense there. So let me just get rid of all of this again. So I'm still watching this for when the opportunity is going to present on it, but I'm hoping we get it cheaper than what it is now before that opportunity steps in. Doesn't mean I'm not bullish on Solana. If Solana gets an ETF with staking, yeah, it's going to take off again. But imagine we can get an entry down here before that happens. It's going to be delicious. So yeah, anyway, moral story is this, it's a 4-hour candle and still got 2 hours. So don't hold me to this, but it is struggling at the halfway mark of this vector candle right here. And if that closes as a bearish engulfing, this part might happen next. And I think that's good. That's a buying opportunity if, like I said, it can come back down into this zone. Let's look at the more recent liquidity. I just wouldn't buy it here because of that idea. Now, hang on, just give me a second. Okay, so the highest, I have to think. Well, okay, here's what I would do. What am I going to do? Let me think about this. I need a lower time frame. Look at that railroad track. Now, here's what happens after a railroad track. If that railroad track is going to signal a reversal, this candle, this 1 hour candle here, won't be able to get back into the half to top part of the candle closes of this. And that's where it will start to fall away. So there's still 7 minutes to go of this candle. So it's looking like it's going to meet that criteria. But after that, you have to watch a few candles, okay? And it's either going to consolidate for a while or it will start to move down and away. That's when you know that this halfway mark is going to hold. What can happen, I always try to find this candle pattern like in cheat sheets and I can never find it. But there is a candle pattern, let me explain it to you, that happens at the top of a formation that is bullish after a railroad track. And that is, you get the railroad track like this, and then the next candle is another bullish engulfing, and that tricks you. So that's why you can't react when you initially, I don't know what it's called, a 3 something, but that's why you can't react when straight away as soon as you see a railroad track. You have to wait to see what the next candle after does. So we will be looking for weakness in this candle, and then that would signal to you that it's going to fall away. But if this was to close as a bullish engulfing, that's actually bullish. So yeah, keep an eye on that. Another little hint for you. Now, if it does fall away, I'm really not certain where I would look for an entry if it wasn't my super low entry, to be honest with you. I really don't like anything. I feel like I can't force an entry for the sake of giving you something. I would rather be honest and say, this is something I would have to revisit if it started to turn away. So I hope that's okay, but I don't want to just put something out there if I don't really have high conviction in it. to be honest. Okay. Oh shit, I've got to go. So let me just cover the last thing that I wanted to cover with you, because you're going to laugh, but I'm going to give Aptos another go, guys. I'm going to give Aptos another go. Let's look at this on the daily time frame. I tell you why. Look at it. Look at it. It is, the support here is at $3.80, and then the resistance is like probably around here at $6.07. Now, what I'm going to do with this, I'm not going to take this as a trade. I'm going to set this up as a grid bot on Pionex. Now, if you're wanting to join Pionex, you can get here bonuses if you use the link in the description. In case you don't know, we also released a course around Gridbot trading. So you can get access to this for free, 100% for free, if you do join Pionex using our link. And then this website is listed in the description of this video. You come here, you create your account, and you put in your Pionex UID. Just make sure you funded it with $250. That's for you to spend on your own trades. It's not a cost of doing the course. But then in addition to that, they have these bonuses. With this one, you have to do KYC too, which means upload documents. If you don't want to do that, skip this. It's only $50, so who cares? They have these other deposit bonuses that are really, really good. Now, these deposit bonuses allow you to try one trade basically using the bonus money and not your own. So it's a good chance to try without risking your own money. So what I want to do with Aptos very quickly, because I don't want to eat into Kat's time, is I want to set up a grid bot on Aptos, and at the end of this video, I'll post the link so that you can copy this if you want to copy it as well. But my area of interest is down here at 3.072. So in Pionex, before I do it, just very quickly, these are the bots that I currently have open. We're killing it, man. Everything's in green. We're doing well. My ETH ones haven't triggered yet. I'm still open to the idea of them triggering by August. All of these are very long-term bots. So I have the patience to wait for the right area to enter. And if I eventually start to think it's not going to happen, I will trigger it and I will let you know that it's now live, and you can make yours live if you want to as well. So I'm just going to quickly create an Aptos one, so that you guys can copy it. And what did I say my range was? 3.07. Wait, where am I? Yeah, here. 3.07. And I'm going to put the top range. Let me just check. I'm going to put it up here. I'm going to put the top range here at 7.55. Yeah, 7.55. And then I want to do maybe 200. No, we need more. So 250. Yeah, 250. That's a good range. And I'll put 1,000. And then that's it. I'm going to set this one to go now. So I'm only on 3x leverage because it's a long-term trade. And then, yeah, if you come back and visit this video, I'm going to jump off right now. Come back a little bit, like in 10 seconds, and I will post the link to this bot in the description of this video. If you're in TTC, or if you have signed up to this course already, then you will know that you get access to my private bot channels where I do all of the updates and give you all of my bot links. So you can just grab it from in there. I'll post it in there as well. All right, guys, hope you had a good time. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you guys on the next one.